On today's episode of PJ and the Beard, we're going to look at a pedal that was modeled after a very popular, dare I say, famous amplifier. But before we get into that, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel, clicking on the notification bell. Your interaction with us helps us interact with great people in the industry. In this case, we went to Zzounds again, and we were able to get in the Soldano Super Lead Overdrive, modeled after the SLO head, 100-watt head.
Right. They make some other wattages too, right?
I think so, but this was the one that first came out, and everybody's like, ooh. It was like 87, 86, 87.
So if you're here for metal, sorry, probably not going to get metal.
Welcome to the home of Dad Rock and Boomer Bands.
Yeah, probably not getting metal.
Not so much.
And so I know a lot of people, when they see Soldano, they think metal.
Sure.
But, you know, we have some guitar players that we're real big fans of that have used Soldano amps. Name a few. Warren Haynes, Derek Trucks, Eric Clapton, Mark Knopfler, Gary Moore, to name a few. Right? So, I mean, it's not just a metal kind of thing. So, we're not here to go, okay, does it sound like the real head? Who cares? I mean, I don't care.
It's another one that's more attainable, but we don't have one.
Right.
It's right.
And I just, at the end of the day, I don't care. It's like, I want to know what it sounds like.
Right.
How would we use it? Is it something that, you know, whatever. So we have it. We're going to take it for a spin. Certainly the name and that being associated with amps of players that we love was enough for us to go, hey, let's get this, plug it into a 22-watt JT22 from Tyler Ampworks. That's really kind of a half-breed between a Princeton and a deluxe reverb, and take it for a spin. So typically we jump into clips, but we're like, hey, before we get into clips, let's show you just a couple features, twist a couple knobs. You wanted to start with the gain knob.
Yeah, we'll do the gain. It has volume, presence, and gain across the top, treble, middle, bass across the bottom. For this part, we're not going to touch treble, middle, bass. We're just going to play with the gain knob and a little bit with the presence knob using your PRS McCarty. You're going to play like a repetitive thing. We're going to dial the gain, not from 0, because 0 is nothing, and work from about here. So I'll start with here's just clean.
It amazes me how well this pedal cleans up your volume knob. Now, granted, the gain's not up real high right now.
Yeah, I think that's 2.
Right. So, I mean, the gain's not up real high right now, but it's still, I mean, it's up high enough that when you roll your volume back, it kind of surprises me. Now, being a Soldano, and you got guys like Warren Haynes and, you know, those guys that play with their volume knobs, like this, you know, that doesn't surprise me that they would find an amp that would do that. So it doesn't really surprise me the pedal would do that. But I will say there's been moments tonight where the gain's up and I roll the volume back. I'm like, it shouldn't get that clean with the gain, with that much gain on tap. In fact, one of the clips we really dive into that, and that will be coming up a little later. PRS Silver Sky. Let's see.
S-type guitar.
We thought that'd be a good one to do the deep switch on the side.
Yeah, so we can go through to my clean tone. I always like playing Strats on 2.
So I'm going to hit, you're going to play, we'll turn it on. I'm going to hit, after a round or two, I'll hit the deep switch in, which might be kind of hard to tell when I do that on here because the camera will probably be cut off. So I'll try, why don't I tap the top of it or something to show you that I'm turning the deep switch on? Because the deep switch is right here on the side. Mm-hmm. All right. I mean, I'm not sure I always pushed it at the right spot, but you can tell when I pushed it.
Yeah, you can definitely hear it. Made the guitar fat. That was really bright without it. And we always I'm such a low-end guy that I'm trying to get my ear to something that work in the mix. You put it in, but I like when you put it in, you bump the presence up a little bit. Because it fattened it, but it kind of buried it a little bit when you took the presence up. I thought that was pretty good.
I know, I mean, I feel like theoretically I would really like it with it in. Mm-hmm. But I think in all the clips that I did, I had it out. But I was using...
Humbuckers, you split them a couple times. I think you used humbuckers on... Well, you used the P90 on one. But.
So that takes us to the first clip. First clip, I sat down the night right before Pat got here, put all the knobs at noon, turned it in, grabbed the Les Paul. It's a 60s... traditional 60s classic, right?
David Barber edition.
Yes, David. We're gonna do an episode on this guitar and what he did to it, but man, it's some kind of wizardry. So plugged it in, left everything at noon. Sounds like this. To get as close to, I wouldn't call it necessarily metal. I'm a big fan of 80s rock. I like guys who played Super Strats. Who doesn't love Steve Lukather? I'm not saying I played like that, but I actually got this Fender Aerodyne that we have on loan from Zzounds that we were yet to shoot a video on, and I put it in the humbucker. But I thought, Super Strat, let's juice the gain really hot and play, I wouldn't call it metal, but just something heavy. And here it is. my next clip, I grabbed the PRS SE DGT. It's a lot of...
Yeah, you know me.
It's a lot of letters, right? Because I wanted to really play around with the volume knob. I forget right now where we set the gain. I don't think it was super high. But I remember starting out with it split. Volume rolled way back, rolled the volume up, unsplit it, went to the bridge. Just jumping around, but it was a lot of up and down. So you can hear just how reactive this pedal is to the volume knob, which I'm still amazed by. And it was just a real simple little kind of bluesy slow riff to do that. And it went something like this.
Opening of the video, we talked about the people that use these pedals, and one was Clapton, so the S-style guitar. I told you I like Journeyman, 24 Nights. It's not initially originally where the song came from, but close to a copyright strike as I'm ever going to get. This is what I played.
It's not hard to find an excuse to play this Gibson SG Junior. We use this as an excuse to do it. This was on loan from Zzounds.
And we still have it. You figured it out.
Yeah, you figured it out. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to crank it. I think both of the ones I did were kind of low, medium gain. I wanted to crank the gain up on it and take this for a spin. It sounded a little bit like this.
my last clip, I grabbed this wonderful ES335, one of the most underplayed guitars in the room. But
it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. I mean, just for the simple way it looks, for one, but the way it sounds is great. But I just wanted to see what it would sound like with these humbuckers with a hollow body. And I just played through some chords and a couple single note things because I really thought it kind of really was creamy on the single notes. I probably didn't do it justice in this clip, but this is what it sounds like.
Last clip we have for you. We have one final jam coming up. In that jam, I went back to that Les Paul Classic, plugged it into the Soldano, and I think most of the clips tonight have had the DLS Effects Echo Tour on them as well. Mm-hmm. It's always present. It's always there. So what'd you do on your side?
For me, through the Fender Hot Rod Deluxe, the Silver Sky SE, through the Barber Electronics Game Changer, in which David Barber has one just like this, and he on Instagram this week posted a setting that he thought played well with each other, so I stole that setting. It's the highest form of flattery, and paired it with the carbon copy and played rhythm under the last track here.
Yeah, we were literally over here,
looking at
zooming in and to see where the switches were. So before we wrap this up, final thoughts. What do you think?
I think it's a cool pedal. It's crazy the amount of gain in there. Like I self-proclaimed gainiac. I kept finding myself dialing it back more and more. And even that on 2 was crazy good. And then you can completely saturate it as I did when I got the Fender Aerodyne. I think it covers a lot of territory as shown by who's used it. I mean, you've got Rat and other people using this type of pedal. And then some of the classic guitar player. Yeah, that's right. That represented by this pedal. I think it's really cool. I think it's got a lot of tone shaping opportunities with the 3-band EQ, plus the presence knob, plus the switch on the side. I think it's one that you could sit with for a while and get a lot of different things out of it. It probably pairs well with other amps as well. We only did it through one, but I could see with the options it has, it'd find a home on someone's pedal board.
Yeah, interestingly, the high gain pedal's not normally my thing, but I've said, I'd like to have maybe a higher gain pedal on my pedal board for those times where I want that. And we've had several kind of high gain pedals down here, and I've never been like, oh yeah, that's the one. I really like this one, but for me, the big feature, the selling feature for me is that volume knob thing. You can crank that gain up and still, because when I say the volume knob thing, I think volume knob as a tone knob. Like I can roll it back, it cleans up, it cleans the guitar signal up. A lot of people these days would do gain staging with it instead, right? Like I have my pre-light overdrive, my light overdrive, my medium drive, my heavy drive, and a lot of times it's a volume knob. And this thing, you can go all the way from light overdrive with your volume knob up through, like, wow. So yeah, up through stuff I don't play. Right. So yeah, I mean that's really cool. I dig it, totally dig it. So anything else? Are we good?
No, it's great to be able to get things like this in.
Yeah, this one's for Brody. Brody was like, "Can you get the SLO in?"
He's in town, but I'm not sure he's going to have time to really play with it. But we can take it to rehearsal tomorrow night and tease him with it if he wants. But
there you go. So with that, we always take a minute just to stop and say, hey, thanks for watching. We really appreciate that more than anything. If you hit subscribe, hit the notification, the like button, any of that stuff, anytime you interact with the show, like Pat said in the beginning, that helps us form these relationships where we can bring in some really cool stuff to share with you. Right? So it's mutually beneficial to what did the kids say? Smash that like button. Right. With that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.